Okay, we got the frame of the base welded up, and now I'm coming in and putting some gussets in. You can see that little triangle there that I'm kind of welding in, and that what that's going to do is strengthen that whole plate up so that when it gets bolted to the foundation, which is basically the ground, then it isn't going to bend around. All right, let's see. I'm gonna put it on the ground and put it where it belongs. Now, getting that frame and the whole piece down to where this fits inside of the wire framing, and there's a little bit of fiddling around to do. All right, well, once everything's in place, then I come back and start just welding the 1/4 inch round to the frame so that it's where it's supposed to be and it's not going to move around. All right, I brought some scrap steel in. Uh, this is stuff that's been laying around for probably a couple of years from one job or another. We in the summertime we do gates and fences, and so there's always extra chunks laying around, and we don't know what to do with them. Yippee! I get to do something with them. I believe these are 1x2s. Welding that to the center post, and basically it's going to kind of lock the whole thing in. And now I'm actually welding it to the center post, a much stronger weld. Strength is always in the triangle, and so what I try to do is get as much triangulation in as possible. And I'm going back and forth with the table saw. Well, not table saw, but with the chop saw. And getting everything to fit. And here we go, tacking it in. Yippee. Sit down. I love sitting down. And let's weld the hell out of this thing. At age 77, it's almost impossible to get on my knees anymore. So here I am kind of crawling around in the dirt to stay off of my knees and welding up all of these little joints that you can't get to from standing up or sitting on the barrel there. Okay, we got a close-up of welding up the connection with the base itself. And I put a little piece of metal in there just to kind of strengthen everything up. You can't leave this tubing open or else it will tend to flex. Okay, now we're going to take that long leap from the center post of what exists, the head and the neck, all the way to the backside of the base. And again, luckily, I've got a bunch of scrap material laying around that I can use. All right, more welding. Here we go. And it just seems to keep rolling along, the welding. But that's the job I took on right when I first started doing this, because I knew that was going to happen. And we really have a random piece of material lengthwise. So, wherever it lands is fine with me as long as it's within, 6 inches or a foot of where I want to be. So that's back and forth to the chop saw to get the angles right. That looks pretty good. You can see I've spliced 2 smaller pieces for this particular part. Here we're going at normal speed, and you can see how slowly I move as I'm doing this, mostly because you gotta kind of maneuver around all of this cage and all of this stuff in order to get in there and do something. All right, well, now we're down into the center and a close-up of all of those pieces connecting together, and basically what I'm doing is welding whatever is available. I get an inch in here, a half an inch in there, a couple inches over here, and just kind of bringing it all together as a welding. And then later on I'm going to come in and strengthen up the connection with more pieces of scrap. And here I'm going to run a 1 foot long piece that is going to bring all of those pieces together as a single weld. Well, maybe I'm not going to do that. Oh yeah, I'm cutting off some stuff that's kind of in the way. And then we bring in the one single piece, and it butts up against all of those open spaces so I can weld them up. Let's see what we got. All right, well, just a couple of touch-up welds. There. Now that piece, and again, It doesn't matter where it goes as long as it's there and as long as it makes things strong. What that's done is turn that whole junction into a piece of angle iron. And here's a different angle, and you can see that it's pretty much a mess in there. But nobody's going to see that except the little birds who get in there and make their nests. Well, I'm up in there. I'm realizing that the last bit of scales that I put on, I didn't roll that little tongue back and weld them up. So I'm going to go ahead and go in there and roll all of those back just so I, make it stronger. And the more I look, the more I realize, oh, there's a chip that hasn't been pushed down. And there's another one, and there's another one. And I keep coming back to it, but I keep finding more and more. Then eventually I get them all down, and now it's probably time to come back in with the welder and go ahead and weld them up. There we go. We're welding. And it's good to get this out of the way, because as I go further into making this structure, the interior structure, those bars are going to be getting in the way. So get this out of the way right now while I'm thinking about it. And we're kind of running to the end of our video. I've been having fun. The next part is going to be pretty cool. So we'll see you next week or so. And, may the force be with you.